Welcome everybody back to MGN News. I'm your host Frosted Fricks, and today I bring you incredibly sad news. It is with a heavy heart and a weight of sadness I have to inform those of you who don't already know. The comic book legend Stan Lee has passed away. Stan Lee was an innovator of his time, and the stories and characters he wrote into the world are timeless and have affected our childhood one way or another. Stan the Man, as some called him, was born Stan Lee Martin, December 28, 1922. And started his comic book career back in 1939, working as an assistant at a company called Timely Comics, a division of Pulp magazine. His duties were simple at first.
In those days, the artist dipped the pen in ink, so I had to make sure the inkwells were filled.
Lee recalled in an interview in 2009.
I went down to get them their lunch. I did proofreading. I erased the pencils from the finished pages for them.
Stan Lee would have his first debut in writing Captain America Foils the Traitor's Revenge in Captain America Comics No. 3 in the late 1950s, using the pseudonym Stan Lee, which years later he would adopt as his legal name. Later in his early career, we learned that DC Comics editor Julius Schwartz revived the superhero archetype and experienced a significant success with its updated version of The Flash, and later with the super team, the Justice League of America. In response, publisher Martin Goodman assigned Lee to come up with a new superhero team. Lee's wife suggested that they experiment with the stories he preferred, since he was planning on changing to careers and had nothing to lose. Lee acted on that advice, giving his superheroes a flawed humanity, a change from the ideal archetypes that were typically written for preteens. Before this, most superheroes were perfect people with no lasting problems. Lee introduced complex, naturalistic characters who would have bad tempers, fits of melancholy, and vanity. They bickered amongst themselves, worried about paying their bills and impressing girlfriends, got bored, or were even sometimes physically ill. The first superheroes Lee and artist Jack Kirby created together were the Fantastic Four, based on a previous Kirby superhero team, the Challengers of the Unknown, published by DC Comics. The team's immediate popularity led Lee and Marvel's illustrators to produce a cavalcade of new titles. Again, working with Kirby, Lee co-created the Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, and the X-Men with Bill Everett, Daredevil, and even with Steve Ditko, Doctor Strange, and Marvel's most successful character, Spider-Man, all of whom lived in a thoroughly shared universe. Lee and Kirby gathered several of their newly created characters together into a new team title called the Avengers, and would revive characters from the 1940s such as the Submariner and Captain America. Lee went on with his life to be an amazing man to the people around him, an amazing father, and an amazing influencer to his company. Stan Lee is truly a legend that is worth making this video for, and again, it is with a heavy heart we say goodbye to this beautiful example of a humble and kind human being. Thank you, Stan Lee, for always being there for your fans, for inspiring so many people around you, for putting the super in superhero. You may be gone, but your legacy lives on. I'm happy that you personally have affected my life, and that I at least had a chance to meet you once. Thank you.
Do you know why my motto is Excelsior? It's in the word that means upward and onward to greater glory. It's on the seal of New York. Keep moving forward, and if it's time to go, it's time. Nothing lasts forever.